Welcome to another AUM School of Education tutorial video. Over the course of this video, we're going to be learning how to use iMovie. Now, iMovie is a piece of software that's included with all Apple computers, all Macintosh computers, and it's part of the iLife suite of software. Basically, iMovie allows you to take video clips and different sources of video and edit them all together into what really amounts to a movie. Now we're going to begin by looking around our screen here. You always want to start at your project library. The very first thing you do is you're going to create the project itself. And to do that, you're going to click this plus sign. Now when you do that, you get this option here. The first thing you want to do is give it a name. We're going to call this a demo movie. Now you have to choose which aspect ratio you want. You have widescreen 16:9, which is typically what you see in a movie theater, or you have standard 4:3, which is your older kind of television that's not high definition. Most people like 16:9 a little bit better from what I've seen, and that's just my personal preference too. But either one should be acceptable for a project that you might be doing. Now, you have a choice with the frame rate. This is 30 FPS, that's frames per second, NTSC. Basically, that's the American standard for movies, so if you're in the United States, that's what you want to use. Your other option is PAL, that's kind of a European, and 24 frames per second would be like an actual movie that you'd see in the movie theater. Although we're going to stay at NTSC for this. Now, your next option to choose from is project themes. Now, my preference is to use no theme, but you have all these different themes available, and you can choose any of them. You just need to be careful when you do that, because if you do that, a lot of times iMovie will put certain things into your project that you may not want, like transitions that you hadn't planned on being there. So for the purpose of this tutorial rather, we're not going to choose any themes, and we're going to go ahead and create our project. Okay. Now basically, we're at the point now where we need to import video into our project. Now there's several different ways we can do that. The first way is pretty easy. If you look down here, you see a little camera option. This is what's called you can see it right there, it's your camera import window. If I click that and I don't have a camera attached to my computer, what comes up is a actual high definition camera on the MacBook that I'm using. Basically, I can record from here just by clicking capture. So I want to go ahead and capture maybe 15 seconds of video and show you how it works. I click the capture button. It tells you exactly how much time you have available on the hard drive. I've got 27 hours worth I could use. I'm going to create a new event, and I want this to be stabilized for me. That just means it kind of bounces out. If I move around, it'll kind of try and even out things. Or if the camera itself are moving, kind of like this, it'll try and balance out any camera movement. So now I'm going to click capture. And you can see my timer's going right now. And like I said, we'll do 15 seconds. And then we're going to go ahead and stop this. We're at 10 seconds now. And 15. I click stop. It generates a thumbnail for me on the fly, and you'll need that thumbnail, and I'll explain why in just a moment. Now it's going to stabilize, and I'll pause our video for just a second. Now our stabilization is almost done. Got less than a minute left. Alright, now I'm going to click done, and if you look right down here, you can see under my new event I have my entire 15 seconds of video in place. Now that's one way to capture video. Now sometimes there's a second option that you may want to try. If you have a video camera that has a FireWire connection, you can actually connect that camera directly to a Macintosh, and when you click this button, it actually allows you to import the video directly from the camera. The downside to that is that it does it in real time. So if you have a 30-minute video clip, it's literally going to take 30 minutes to import into iMovie. You can't speed it up at all. Now you have another option to import video. Many of you may have an iPhone or a kind of like a flip camera. Now what you guys can do is you can plug those in and drag those videos directly to your desktop or to a folder that you might have in place to save that. Now what I want to show you is this. If I minimize this, I have a video in place on my desktop right here. Now what I'm going to do is go back, and now I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to go to Import, and I'm going to click on Movies, and I'll go to my desktop, and there is my video. Again, you can see how much time is available. I'm going to optimize this video, and I'm going to copy the files instead of move them, and that's just a personal preference for me. I click Import. Now the larger the video file, the longer it takes. You can see this file in question. It was shot on high definition, full 1080p, so it's going to take several minutes to do. Again, I'm going to pause this video while we wait for this to import. Okay, at this point you can see we're about done importing this video clip from the desktop back into our clip library down here. Give it just a few more seconds. And here we go. Still waiting. All right, there it goes. Now it generates a thumbnail, which is typically pretty quick. That's just gives you an idea of what you're looking at in the library here. And here it is. Should appear right there. So now you can see we have the first clip that we did, followed by this one. Now, there's something interesting I wanted to show you. What I've done, what I typically do when I use iMovie is I go to my preferences and I show my advanced tools. And what I wanted to show you real quick is that things change when you enable the advanced tools there. So really quickly, if you look around here, what you see is the basic model of, or basic usage of iMovie. If I go to preferences and I click those advanced tools, there's going to be more options for us to look at. And the first of them is right here. If I click this little button here, this is kind of neat. This is an audio waveform. It actually generates the waveform of the audio that goes along with the video. And it allows me to actually edit the audio in place too. And we're going to demonstrate that in just a couple of seconds. But the first thing we're going to do is talk about how to actually get things going with the actual movie editing. So what I would like to do is explain this part up here. This is where your actual movie is going to go. And it's very specific. It tells you to start a new project, select the video or photos, and drag them to this area. So I want to take this video right here. I'm going to double click it just because that helps me select the whole thing. I want to click that, and now I just drag it straight up to right there. And again, you can see my audio waveform shows up. Now, there's a lot of things you can do with these little clips that are in place. If I click this little box right here, you can see a precision editor, a clip trimmer, clip adjustments, video adjustments, cropping and rotation. It's kind of a neat tool because what it allows you to do is to actually rotate your video any direction. And if you look over here on this right side, this is your video preview area. And anything you see here is what the movie will actually look like when you view it. Now, there's a few more options I wanted to show you. Let's go to this video right here. Say I wanted to take perhaps maybe just part of this video and move it up into my movie area. Well, let's click on a part we want to start at, and we're just going to drag. And what that allows me to do is select certain pieces that I want to use. So I like that little bit of the video right there. So I'm going to click it now and hold it and drag it up. And now that's in place. And let's go farther down. And look, here we have a neat picture. I want to drag this right here. And I want to drag this into place. Now, just because we're talking about typically as movie files doesn't mean you cannot also include still photos You have a lot of different options here. If you look over here on the far right side, you have several buttons. This looks like music, this is a camera, you have a T for text, and what looks like an hourglass, and then a globe. Basically, we're going to start with the camera button here. If I click that, I can scroll through my entire iPhoto library. And the reason I can do this is because the iPhoto library is part of the iMovie and the iLife suite, so everything typically works together. So all I want to do is I want to grab a picture, and I'm going to drag this picture right here right into my movie, and you can see some of the faculty and staff from the School of Education there. Now let's talk about some other options we've got. I like this T stands for text, and if you actually click it out and it disappears, just click it again. What we're going to do is we're going to click and drag. I want to choose this option here, and as you scroll through you can see different options for text. What I found that in my personal use of iMovie is that simple is good, so I want to use simple. And I'm just going to drag this up. I want to move it to the very front of my clip, and I release it, and now I've got to choose a background. And some of these backgrounds actually move, like there's motion, so we're going to pick this one because it looks kind of underwater. We're going to call this a demo movie. Now I can adjust this font by highlighting the font or the text I've got there. I click show font, and I'll pick that nice script. When I make my text, we'll make it kind of black, I think. And I'm going to blow it up to size 9 or 9 font, and then I'm going to click done. Alright, now we've covered the picture including pictures and text. Now let's talk about some transitions. Now a transition basically takes your movie from this. If you watch over here in my preview screen, it's going to play, and it just jumps. And we don't want that jump to happen really like that. So what we're going to do is we drag a transition. And there are lots of different transitions to choose from. We'll take this little cube, and I'm going to drag it up to right here. Now let's view again over here on our preview. Watch what happens. There we go. Of course, I have another break in my video, and this time I'd like to do a simple cross dissolve. And this is my personal favorite because it's kind of a commonly used transition that you see in TV and movies now. Let's watch. And you see how it just kind of fades back and transitions slowly from one scene to the next. And let's use, this time we'll do a circle close for right here. And you can see it tries to do it automatically for me if I'm headed that way. So let's watch. And you can see that's a neat little transition from here to here. You can almost view it frame by frame. In fact, you can view it frame by frame. If you have to expand the amount of time, or if you want to get kind of in detail with the amount of time you're looking at, you can adjust this slider, and you can see how it's increased. It's still only 15 seconds of me here, but you'll notice that it's extended the duration of the clip. Well, not actually extending duration, just kind of spacing out the frames so you can get in there frame by frame. Alright, now we're going to move on to some music. In just one second. Alright, moving on to that music. If we click here, you can choose from anything in your library. That might be stuff, music you bought on iTunes, but if you go up to here, you have iLife Movie Effects, and you have certain pieces of music here, and we're just going to pick one. Let's just pick Borealis, and you can preview it by clicking play. And I just want to drag this one up into place right here. And you can see the music takes place here. And at the end, we'll actually be able to preview this. you can do it. You can preview it live. Of course, I'm using a headset to record this, so any audio that I can hear, you all are not going to be able to hear. All right. And the last option you have, it's kind of a neat one. If you look on the far right, you have what amounts to maps that you can drag into your iMovie. And we're going to take the blue globe, and I'm just going to put it right here, just to show you how it works. And I want to start in Montgomery. Actually, let's start in somewhere else. We're going to go to let's go to San Francisco. San Francisco, California. That's where we're going to start, at San Francisco, and we're going to end in Montgomery. Okay, it says not found, so let's, there's Maxwell Air Force Base, it found that. And we'll even allow it to zoom in. And you can even show clouds. It'll create a world map. This is kind of really neat. And I'm going to click done. And let's watch what happens right here. But first, let's put a transition in there. Transitions, again, are very important. They help make our movies look a little bit more professional. All right, now let's watch. There's our picture. And then there is our movie, or our map, showing the transition from San Francisco to Montgomery. And you can go back again and just view it slowly if you need to. Now I'm going to go ahead and adjust my time frame here. And so far, there's a timer right here at the bottom. You can see I've got 53 seconds total. Of course, if you look down at the bottom of my screen, you can tell I've got 5 minutes, 20 seconds of actual video. So I'm just barely using any of that. You can see how the editing process is coming together. Okay, now at this point what we're going to do is I want to talk about another audio option that we have. You'll see a microphone listed right here. This is a kind of a neat little trick. It allows you to narrate your videos. So if I click the microphone, you can see that my built-in microphone comes up and it's picking up my voice right now. I'm going to drag this out of the way. And it tells you to record, click a clip where you want the voiceover to begin. Well, I want to do a little introduction with my voice right here. So as soon as I click, it's going to give me a 3-second countdown. I'm clicking now. It tells me to get ready. Welcome to my video. And when I hit the space bar, it stops my audio or my microphone from recording. So you can see right here, anything in purple is recorded directly from the microphone. Remember, purple is from the mic, green is a sound effect or music. Now, there's also other options we have with our audio track. If you wanted to adjust the level of the audio, I can turn this down. You can see the line right here. I can go right here and drag it down, and that pretty well takes the entire clip. In fact, let me zoom down a little bit. And you can see as I adjust up and down, it changes the whole entire clip. But I can do more than that. You'll see a little tiny button, and it's difficult to see, but it's right there. And if I drag this out, this creates a fade in. And the same little button is down on the back side of that clip, and I can do a simple fade out as well. And I can space it out over as long as I need. I can do the same thing with my video, or my audio clips that were included with the video that I imported. And it works just fine. Now I can even take this and I can drag it down to nothing. And that eliminates the audio, leaving only the sound of this music, the Borealis, as I'm cruising around in this video. Now, let's say I wanted to adjust this little audio clip here and make it end at the end of that little flying clip. Well, watch this. I can take it and I can drag it down to the end. So now it's going to match up perfectly. Of course, you'll notice I'm missing a transition here. Just now notice that. So I can always go back and I can take a transition and throw it right into place very easily, right on the fly. And again, I want to take that music back there. Now at this point, I've covered most of the major features that are in iMovie, so I want to preview my movie. Let's go ahead And I can click, or I can move this little red bar back to the beginning of the movie, and I hit my space bar. Of course, you guys can't really hear the audio so well. Of course, that's just me talking. Now we have a transition coming up to the first part of this flying video. And of course, there's this green music that'll be playing in the background. And a transition. Now we'll transition into the still picture that we put in. And now we'll transition into the map. And you can always, of course, do a transition. In this case, let's go ahead and do a fade to black, because this is the end. And I want to put a little text block up there. And I'll make this one black, because we faded it to black already. And we're just going to say the end. So let's just view the very end from here. Here's our fade to black, the end. Alright, at this point, I like my movie and I'm ready to share this with the world. How do I do that? Well, there's a share button on the top menu bar, and it's just out of view on your screen, but as I click it here, you'll see Media Browser, iTunes, YouTube, Facebook, Vimeo, and CNN iReport. Now, your instructor may have you submit this as a YouTube video, and that's fine, but what I prefer to do, and just because I know the formatting is a little bit better and it can cause less issues, is I go to Export Movie, and I'm going to export this as my demo movie, and I want it on my desktop. Now, as you deal with high def, you have high def 1080p and high def 720p, these file sizes get to be really, really big. Even though it's only 1 minute, it's probably going to be quite a few megabytes. Of course, the larger the file size, the more megabytes of that file, the harder it is for Blackboard to actually work with it, because you are submitting your work over the internet often. You know, if you have a huge file, sometimes it might take all night to transfer. So what I would recommend is that you use medium, or if necessary, mobile, depending on how long your movie is. And then you're just going to click export. And what's going to happen now is that iMovie is going to kind of crunch on this. It's going to think about it for about a minute. And during that minute, we'll go ahead and pause. Alright, now I just exported the movie, and I exported it to my desktop. So if I minimize my iMovie, let's take a look around for it. There it is, demomovie.m4v. And let's go ahead and open it up. And you can see it's not going to be a huge big image because, well, basically we made it a smaller file size, which makes the image smaller. But I can hit play, and we can watch our video as it goes through, and we can advance it here, and we can show all those transitions. Here comes one. And we're going to see another transition in just a moment. This should be the still picture. There it is. Here's our map. And now here comes our fade to black. And that is the basics of iMovie. Now I'm going to include my email address right here. So if you guys have questions, you can feel free to contact me. The next part of this tutorial contains the actual video that was created. Feel free to watch it and listen for the sound effects. Welcome to my video. The timer's going right now. And like I said, we'll do 15 seconds. And then we're going to go ahead and stop this. We're at 10 seconds now. And 15.